spend my days listening to old soul. I spend my listening to old.
Well, you know, I spend a lot of my time on my own anyway. Being a musician is quite a solitary existence anyway, so I didn't really struggle with the isolation. Well, I've had a lot of time on my hands, obviously, so I've been doing a lot of writing, which has been great. Yeah, it's been nice to relax. You know, I've been working very hard for a very long time. You know, the last 2 or 3 years have been pretty full on, and I find it impossible to turn down opportunities. If somebody says go here and do this, I'm like, yeah, let's do it. And it means that I haven't really had any time off. So to have, you know, 2 months of downtime was really very welcome, if I'm honest. And whilst I wouldn't have wished this situation on planet Earth, it's been quite a nice thing to go home and see my parents. With regards to Black Lives Matter, my voice as a straight, white, cisgendered, relatively affluent male from Britain is probably not the voice that needs to be heard the loudest. I went to the protests, which are amazing actually. It was nice to be surrounded by people who obviously know the difference between right and wrong. Which, you know, so often the protests, you go to protests and they're not about right and wrong. They're about whether we should leave the EU or whether we should stay in the EU, or whether we should vote for this person or whether we should vote for this person. It's normally like it or not. It's subjective. Whereas Black Lives Matter doesn't feel subjective to me. It feels like an obvious example of right. So yeah, it was great to go there and feel like, you know, that power. It took me 18 months and I was touring at the same time as I was making the album. So kind of did a month on tour and then a month or two in the studio and then a month on tour. And that was an interesting thing because I kind of developed 2 characters when it comes to my touring and my studio. It's like the touring guy is a soldier that just gets on with it and is strong, and the guy in the studio is just like this floppy, kind of open-hearted, vulnerable soul talking about his thoughts and feelings all the time. And they're 2 diametrically opposed characters in a way. So the challenge I found with this album was kind of learning to deal with both of them. But I'm really proud of it. I'm really proud of the album, and I'm really happy that it's finally out. I really like Asleep When I'm Older. I think that song reflects where I'm at in my life quite accurately. I have so much to do and so little time to do it in. Very constantly aware of like I don't have a lot of time, you know. Everything. It can be books I read, films I watch, things people say. I just have a notepad in my phone and I just write down little ideas that come to me. And it can be birds that sing in the trees. It can be the wind rushing through the trees. It can be heavy metal music, or it can be, you know, just a random thought. It can be anything and everything. I would say my biggest influences are Joe Pass as a guitar player, Randy Newman as a songwriter, D'Angelo as a producer, Chet Baker as a singer, Jay Diller as a beat maker, my dad, because, you know, I play guitar because my dad plays guitar, so he's definitely in there. I think it's to do with finding my artistic voice. I didn't find my artistic voice in the guitar, I found my artistic voice in songwriting. And the first time I wrote a song, I didn't need to work at that in the same way, you know. I practiced guitar 6 hours a day for like 3 years. Songwriting, I just sat at a piano one day and loads of songs fell out. And it's a bit like that with my singing as well. I never really had to work at that. So I feel like, you know, maybe that's what I'm meant to be doing. But I do feel that I have a great love of language. You know, I wanted to be a writer when I was a kid. What I love about songwriting is that it's music and it's words, and they affect each other, you know. A lyric can be made more profound by the way in which it's sung or the melody that it follows, and a chord can sound sad or happy depending on what words are being put over the top of it, and that's where the magic is in songwriting. Jazz has come from a place in the 40s and 50s where it was quite a pure art form, and it was a very popular art form. it has sort of unfortunately been relegated to hotel background music, and it's a shame. But at the same time, you know, it had its moment, and I feel that it has influenced all music as we know it. There's not a song made now that isn't in some way influenced by jazz and the history of jazz. So I hope they are still be making jazz in 10 years. I don't know, you know, I've been thinking about that a lot recently because, yeah, the second album came out and I was so like, it was like the end of a creative period for me. And I know that my third album, I really want to go somewhere very different with it. And I'm not sure where that is yet, but something's got to happen. Oh, well, I love taking photos. I'm a keen photographer. And I like cars. I love to drive. Play golf. I love living in the city. It's nice. The energy here is so wonderful. And it makes me work hard, you know, because you always feel that everyone's doing stuff and you've got to do stuff. I think, you know, London's the best city in the world. A lot of the things that are good about England, I think, you know, come from London. I'd probably be criticised for saying that because people hate the London bubble, but reality is, you know, it's where everything happens. All the best restaurants are there, and all the clever people go to London to do their shit. So I love it. It's a beautiful city, and I love going to I love leaving it and going to the countryside. I like being British. It's a nice place to come from. Not at the moment, to be honest. Touring is just out of the question because of the coronavirus. So I've had to cancel absolutely everything. As soon as we can, I promise I will be coming. I want to perform my new album. I haven't toured it yet, you know, it's so strange. But we'll see. I would like to say thank you for existing. I'm really grateful that I have people listening to my music in somewhere that is so far away from my home. I hope that they are coping with the lockdown. Remember to keep positive and be grateful that you have a roof over your head. So I'll see you soon in real life.
I'd been getting wrong. She told me I'm a good man, never been all alone. By the way, I heard her say there's no such thing as time.